Hey everyone, hi. Excited to have Davyeon Ross from ShotTracker, huge basketball company that are doing data and analytics in basketball. And Davyeon, just introduce yourself.
Hey, thanks for having me. My name is Davyeon Ross. I'm the CEO and co-founder of ShotTracker. We started off being a sensor-based technology. Now we have a suite of products all based on statistics, video, AI, and working with coaches, marketing departments, conferences. So I'm excited to be here to talk about data.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, that's what we bring up on our podcast. Tell us about your story because you have right now you have a really how to say it, stable place in the market. You are well developed company, but how it's all started at the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't by any means call us, I mean, we've been around for a little bit, but this market has been really evolving. It's changed quite a bit for multiple reasons, especially what's happening in college sports. You had the pandemic, so it's been really been an evolution for us. My co-founder and I started the company back in 2013, and initially we've had a couple of iterations. When we first started, it was really about consumer tracking their make and miss shots in the backyard. We quickly transitioned that into this sensor-based technology that tracks statistics and analytics and practice and game, and saw some success there. And while having success, we had a couple conferences we were working with. The pandemic hit, which that was pretty significant for many companies, especially sports companies. And so we were forced to somewhat evolve
Mm-hmm.
building a suite of products, right? So we started off with a sensor-based technology where we have sensors in pretty much every basketball partner. So Spalding, Wilson, Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, Molten, Bodden. We have a sensor on the player. We have a sensors in the arena, and we're able to track the statistics and analytics in real time. We track the location of the player and ball within 2 to 4 centimeter accuracy. And
Really?
then we run algorithms on top of there to determine to automatically output your box score and additional advanced analytics. We've been really focusing that product on player development. So in your practice arenas, tracking during the summer, tracking during the school year, so that you know how your players are performing. And then also you can look at it and understand statistically, what's the right, when do you have your most success? When do you have your highest points per possession, etc. So that's kind of where our first product landed.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since the pandemic, we try to diversify our product list. We now have about 4 or 5 products with the Helix version being the first sensor-based solution. We've got another product called Pulse, which is our tech on the bench research product. So the ability to have real-time data on the bench where we do not need our sensors. So this is a sensor-less
Mm-hmm.
product, sorry. With this product, what we do is we get a NCAA live stats feed, we get a video feed, and we synchronize the video and data in a really nice application that allows people to create an interactive box score. So you imagine someone comes out of the game, you can click on any stat, and it automatically brings the video up in real
Mm.
time or less than a second after. So you can use it, you can favorite stuff, you can look at it broken down by possessions, you can look at every single lineup
Mm-hmm.
and see how that lineup is performing and see the output of that lineup. So that product is called Pulse.
Oh.
We have another product called Scout, which
Mm-hmm.
is, again, all of these products are based on stats and video, where what we do is we have, machine learning that looks at the video and identifies what's going on. And it's a voice activated solution that talks to an LLM that you can ask it whatever statistics, whatever information you want to know. Show me every baseline out of bounds plays when Kirill is in the game and the
Mm-hmm.
game is within 6 points with less than 1 minute left, and it's going to go bring back that video for you in real time or in post game as you're doing a scout and researching. And then lastly, we have our hype products. One of the things that we tried to do here was, our biggest thing was like we needed to figure out ways that we could do stuff with the data to showcase to folks how they can utilize the data and monetize it. So what we tried to create is this 3D environment, a 2D environment where people can take the data, the statistics. We have interactive games, all fall under the hype umbrella that you can utilize and use it to engage with your fans, to create sponsorship, etc. We've really evolved, man, but it's all based on the foundation of stats, analytics, video, data, and really helping people. You can't improve what you don't measure.
True. Okay, the conversation will go another way we planned, all right? Because so interesting. What are the main focus in terms of the products right now?
I mean, all of our products are based on stats, video, and analysis. And our main focus across all of our products is to democratize access to video and data.
Mm-hmm.
In real, in post game, in pre game, etc. So when we think about our fundamental purpose, is democratizing and making that video and data accessible anywhere to anyone,
Mm-hmm.
right? Whether that's tech on a bench, whether that's in practice for game development, whether it's as part of a scout, whether it's you're sitting having a discussion and you want to be able to send a text message to our ShotTracker scout and get back video associated with it. I mean, our fundamental purpose is democratizing access to video and stats and data.
Okay, really interesting. You've started with a sensor based product almost from the beginning, right? And tell us about how were you able to validate your idea at the beginning when you had the most, let's say, no resources and it seems like a heavy touch.
Yeah, it's so I think sensor based, technology, it's pretty demanding. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we raised capital. It was a little bit of a research project, sorry, because if you think about it, we had to put a sensor into basketball. We started off just, we had to go through a process of, I mean, one of the biggest challenges we had was how do you actually charge a basketball,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we went through this process of, putting sensors in basketball and charging them so that we were the first company to do resonant charging and be FCC approved, charging over a distance. What resonant charging is the ability to have it hover. So, people know about inductive charging. So you take your phone, you put it on the charger, and that's inductive charging, right? So it's actually sitting on the charger. Versus resonant charging, you could see the charger 3 to 5 inches above the actual charging pad, and it will charge. So that's one of the things that we had to do. I mean, it was painful, to be honest with you. Anytime you do hardware, anytime you're doing, I mean, there was just so many things that we had. As part of that process, we filed over 30 patents, of which I think about 26 are already issued. So we filed a lot of patents as it relates to like just the sensor-based technology. And but so that's a big advantage for us. One of the challenges was, it requires an install, and not everybody's in a position to actually do an install. So it was one of those things where, we just wanted to diversify so that we can meet our customers where we're at, and we wanted to find ways to be able to capitalize on that data and video and all the tools that we had, and how do we make that available to our customers and partners, etc.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Gotcha. So you've mentioned that the diversification includes creating other products.
Yeah.
So as I know, you have signed like a big clients like from NBA and etc. NCAA. And my question to you is that what are the main products your big clients are using?
Yeah, so our clients, so I mean, we have, so mainly at the collegiate level, we're just starting to have discussions with the pro level.
Mm-hmm.
The Helix system is something that's being used by over 50, NCAA teams. We're seeing some growth in our Pulse product, which is the tech on the bench product. And then our Scout and our Hype product has gotten quite a bit of usage over the last several months. The Pulse, the Hype, and the Scout product are brand new products for us over the last, probably I would say, 6 to 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
So we're excited in some decent adoption there and getting those into the market. So, but our Helix product is, that's the product that's been out from the beginning. Our later products are products that we've just got done building over the last 6 to 12 months, and now we're starting to push them into the market.
Okay, yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit more detailed about the technology of each product? Let's say
Yeah.
about the Pulse product. Just, dive a little bit deeper for us.
Yes, so for sure. So we talked about the Helix product, which is a sensor-based product.
Yeah.
The Pulse product is, think about it as real-time tech on the bench, right? So imagine being able to get access to, coaches have it on the bench,
Mm-hmm.
and they have stats and they have analytics coming in. We bring in those feeds. We also bring in the video. And what we do is we utilize our technology and our AI solutions to synchronize the video. We're watching what's going on in the video using
Mm-hmm.
computer vision, and we're synchronizing the stats and the data with video so that that happens in real time. So now if, let's just say, someone comes out of the game on the bench, right? And then I'm guarding you, Kirill,
Mm-hmm.
and you just lighten me up. You've got three pointers that keep going under the screen. They could pull a player, filter on your shots, and show the three-point shots that you made in real time so that I can learn and make a decision. So when I go back in, maybe it's a matter of I kept going under the screen and you're such a great shooter, I didn't follow the scout. So now I could actually show that player it in real time on the bench and get access to it, right? And when I show that player, now that player sees it, that player goes back into the game and they're thinking about it differently. I mean, if you think about it historically, you'd have had 8 3-pointers before I knew what to do, and we were watching it in post game.
Mm-hmm.
Now with this type of technology, we can actually have it in game and make these changes immediately. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a usage. The other thing is post game. If because we're pulling all of the data from all the NCAA schools and their video, now you can actually go post game and you could start looking at your next opponent. Maybe they're playing at this point in time, so you can get access to that feed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the product, right? And the beautiful thing about it is it doesn't require any sensors. And we've had interest at the high school level, the pro level, the college level. So we're very excited about that project because again, it democratizes access to video and data.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sounds interesting. But how you've mentioned that it requires no touch, the Pulse product,
Yes.
right? How do you? So you said that you are taking videos and then you are comparing it to stats for coaches on the bench, let's say.
Yes.
Where do you get live stats from to compare to the videos, and how does it work? I saw it's
Yeah,
connected.
it's a combination. If I told you too much, I'd have to kill you, Kirill. No, I'm just like. But what I will say is that we're getting access to the live feeds, the live NCAA feeds, and that's our magic. That's what we're doing from our magic.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, we're taking in that video, we're taking in the stats, we're running CV computer vision over the video, we're taking the stats in live, and then we're synchronizing it and making it
Mhm.
available in real time.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So that's a Pulse product. And then tell us about a little bit about Scout.
Yeah, so Scout is voice activated. What we're trying to do again, democratize access to video and data, right? So if you think about it, most people on most teams have certain people that are responsible for getting access to video and data to whether it's as part of a scout, whether it's for a coach, etc. What do they do? Who are the players to watch, etc. For us, we think that that should be an on-demand experience. We think that there's one way to go about it, which clicking through, looking at the data, and if you want, you could use Pulse for that. But in conjunction with Scout, we think that you should be able to use with the evolution of LLMs and AI and different technologies. We believe you should be able to ask any question that you want to ask and get back the answer
Mm-hmm.
instead of going to watch 10 games to try to figure out what they're doing or every baseline out of bounds plays that they have. We believe you should be able to ask for it,
Mm-hmm.
and we think it's more efficient. And so whereas if you were someone whose coach said, hey, I want you to show me all the baseline out of bounds plays that this team did in the last 10 games, now you're shuffling through 10 different game videos and going through and cutting up the baseline out of bounds plays. Versus with me with Scout, I'd just say, show me all the baseline out of bounds plays that this team did.
Mm-hmm.
And our system will go and find those and bring them back to you and based on every possession and break it down by every team. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you think about efficiency in that process, there's a lot of efficiency in that process. Our ultimate goal is if we could make it so a coach could say, show me this, versus having to send somebody to go watch 10 videos, then it gets much more efficient for them. And so this product is really about efficiency. And then if you wanted to use your specific video tool, that's fine. You could just click select all and download all of these different clips or possessions into your video editing suite, and you're good to go. But at the end of the day, I don't know how much you know about what's going on in college sports right now, but there's a lot on these coaches' plates. I mean, they've been added so much more from, transfer portal. There's some coaches who come April, or May, they have nobody on their team. So they're heavily on recruiting, right? It doesn't matter how much technology you have. If you don't have anybody on your team, your technology doesn't matter. So these coaches have a lot being put on their plate. They have quick turnaround times. And our whole mindset is that how do we, again, democratize access to video and data, speed up that process so that they can get access to, they can get it on the fly. If they want to text it, then they should be able to text it and get access to the video. If they want to use Siri and say, Siri, ask out a question, if they want to understand, if they want to be able to type it in via, while they're in the plane, no matter where they are, they should be able to do that. We want to make it accessible, either in real time or post game or pre game. We want to get them whatever they want very fast and very efficient. And that's basically what the Scout product is about.
Is it some kind of an app, or is it just API right now and you're looking to integrate it, let's say, to somewhere? How does it work?
Yeah, so we do have APIs. I mean, everything that we build is API based. We kind of eat our own dog food, but from our perspective, we have the interface on top of it. It could be going to scout.shottracker.com. It could be, texting it because it's using the same APIs. It could be, voice activated. At the end of the day, it is an application, but it could be accessed. Again, we want to meet people where they are. It could be accessed anywhere, any place, anytime.
Awesome. Yeah, because recently I've been speaking with a company in soccer. And they created this WhatsApp chatbot where coaches were texting what they want to see, and then it was giving them the answer automatically. So that's why.
Yeah, so that's for WhatsApp. It could be, I mean, we have a Scout number, so if you wanted to have a conversation with it from WhatsApp, you could do so too.
Okay, yeah. Maybe one
Yeah.
day create a, audio version of right, where you could call and ask person what do you want to know, and they will reply you.
It's interesting because I don't know if you'll ever get to that point because we're in a society right now where most people want to text versus talk to you on the phone. So it just seems like that's the kind of society we're in today. So, I think text is much more convenient. You could do it on the phone, you could do it while in your meetings. If you think about something, you could just text. You can even say, hey, Siri, text this number and
Yeah.
ask this question. So there's a lot of ways to do it, but I don't know if we'll ever get to the phone calls to call in. I think that, I think text is going to be really, really powerful and allow people to get access to all of these features.
Awesome. Yeah, that's interesting product. And let's go ahead to the last one, a high product, like you said. Tell us about it a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. So Hype was our version of how can we help people monetize the data,
Mm-hmm.
right? So how can we help folks understand we've got this incredible data, whether it's video, whether it's statistical data, and how can we help people? So we end up partnering up with a couple colleges, and we've done Hype is it's a suite in itself, right? It has a 2D product, two-dimensional, meaning you can click, get the graphics, get shot charts, etc. You can use it via either your broadcast, your in-stadium social channels. We allow the 2D integration via Expression. Expression is a tool that most people utilize in stadium,
Mm-hmm.
but that allows we have an API and we integrate a plugin for Expression, so they don't have to do the work. All they have to do is say, hey, we want this plugin, and pretty much we give them the plugin and it connects to our data and the
Mm-hmm.
feed is available. We've had schools customize it already. And then we have this 3D component where you can go in, you can create a scene so that it looks like whatever your campus or your university or your arena looks like. And it mimics it even to the floor. Like we've had, like literally we recreated Allen Fieldhouse. And it could be done in real time by just point and click. And Allen Fieldhouse is blue. And then we also utilized it for the Big 12 tournament. And for those of you who watched the Big 12 tournament, they had a really incredible brand new court that was really cool, and we were able to integrate that court so it looks like you were in a three-dimensional version of the T-Mobile Center where the Big 12 played their championship. And
Oh.
with that, you click through and it shows like this three-dimensional shot charts and videos and stuff. So it was really cool. And then lastly, what we have is we have some interactive games that utilizes the data. Again, when we first started, we were all about just, hey, here's the APIs, here's the development kits, go create your own. And that was just really hard for people. There were maybe one or two people that engage with, let me hit the API and make something out of it. And so for us to accelerate where we want to get to, we decided to just start building products because the heavy lifting is done. The API is available. So literally all the products you build on top is just hitting our own APIs and coming up with ways that we can recycle that data. So Hype is a perfect example of recycling that data We were able to build these products, and now we can meet people. We have this suite of products that people could say, hey, I want to start here. And the hope is they start there, and then we kind of land and expand as part of that process.
Wow, awesome, awesome, Devin. Yeah, that's to be honest, like that's really interesting how you are able to use data, right, in different scenarios. And like for me, when I was starting out in this industry, it was really straightforward. You have a video, then you have stats, and that's it. But now working with companies, speaking with people like yourself, I'm always gotten intrigued by how people using data in different scenarios from different angles, and how smart could you be?
Yeah, look, I think from my perspective, it allows us to, to get in the door with folks where they have a need, right? And then once they have a need and we're in the door there, then we could start talking about all the other ways we can work with them.
Mm,
And then the beautiful thing about it is that the cool thing is that the foundation, like 80% of the lifting is the infrastructure of how do you ingest stats and how do you make it available to your APIs. Once you have that done, then building these applications on top of it is, maybe 20 to 25% of the process. I'm not saying it doesn't require some work, right? But
mm-hmm,
it's the same data that
mm-hmm,
you're recycling. It's the same data, and now you're just giving it, shelving up a different recipe with the same flour, the same milk, etc. So
mm-hmm,
from our perspective, it gives us some flexibility. Allows us to kind of meet people where they're at. It allows us to have different people within the organizations. I mean, now we're having conversations with ADs.
mm-hmm,
We're seeing people saying, hey, can we use the Hype 3D for NIL? We want to give this to our athletes so that our athletes can create this three-dimensional component that they can use on their social media. Or if they want to, the folks in stadium can use it. Or if you want to, like some of our schools did, is they took it and they integrated it into their mobile app, right?
mm.
And so, yeah, it seems like there's multiple different, but those are just distribution points hitting the same APIs.
Yeah, yeah. So it looks like looks like a huge way ahead, and you could play like this with the data. You could play around like and create so many ways. But you mentioned one thing that got me interested. You said that the products you created, that's a thing to get you in the door, but you could also create a personal and tailored products for your customers from your API. Is it the thing you've mentioned?
Well, I think from our perspective, we're not creating one off products. I mean, what I meant by that was that we have a slew of products utilizing the data based on our customers' needs. So if customer wants is looking for something that integrates in their mobile app, then they can use that. If they're looking for the scout, if they're looking, I mean, look, we feel like we play in three different areas, right? We play in player development, which, that happens like in practice. It happens during the summers when people are working out and people use that sensor-based system for that to keep track of it. Then we think about in-game strategy, and that in-game strategy could be, how do I prepare for the game? How do I make decisions in the game? How do I evaluate the game and think about the next scout, right? So that's the second place. And then the third place is, that fan integration, fan experience, right? How do I use the data to really enhance a different user base, which is the fan? So when I think about it, we play in these three categories, and then we just build products that, help to facilitate these categories. But at the end of the day, it's sitting on our infrastructure. That's the data. That data is coming up.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
that's kind of how we think about it. So I don't know if it's not necessarily custom applications. Now we've built in our applications if someone wants to make, maybe K State wants it to be purple and Oklahoma State wants the orange or the brown, right? Like you can do like little things like that. And then, we also make the data available to them if they want to actually run their own algorithms on top of the data, which I think is pretty powerful.
mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't say that we're building custom apps for folks. We just have some minor customizations to make it feel like it's their own, and then we have our applications on top of it.
Yeah, interesting, but I got you. And I think that the one way that you probably could, do is that, right, when you're going to the customer and you're talking to the customer, you hear the common needs of their needs, and you might tweak something a little bit, or you might hear from someone that they are looking for some kind of a need, and you hear it repeatedly, and out of your data, you could also create something new, right? So this is
Yeah, yeah. Look, we're being opportunistic. There's a lot of opportunities in here, especially given what's going on in the market. I mean, there's like a whole bunch of new problems that's coming up given the current landscape at the NCAA, the current landscape at the NCAA level. So you're right. There's a whole bunch of different opportunities. Man, I love new. I'm my demeanor. My first inclination is to be a problem solver. So a lot of times if I hear opportunities and I feel like I can solve it, there's also a little bit of a balancing act too, right? Because you can't do everything.
yeah.
So it's a little bit of a balance of if we hear opportunity enough and we could spin something up that makes sense, or we look at something off the shelf, then we have to make a decision. But right now we have enough products in our slew, and I think our products are well poised for success. That it's a matter of now we've got a pretty decent sized sales team. Now we're just getting out into the market and pounding the pavement to see what we can do.
Okay, yeah, awesome. I'll be rooting for you, Davyeon. I'll be following you guys. And yeah, we're about to
We
finish.
need, we need as many cheerleaders as possible because it takes a village. I mean, this is hard work, and it's a very competitive market. People like what they like. People don't necessarily, like change. Just humans in general. Even if it's good for you, people like what they're familiar with. But we're just trying to disrupt that market and say, hey, this is what's up.
Yeah, it takes
So,
correct takes time for people to accept something new and to accept change, and that's where we need to be, disciplined, right? To push, 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 and one day people will accept.
yeah.
All right. Yeah, Devian. So we're about to finish. I have a small blitz for you.
Okay.
That would be, I bet I know the answer, but what is your favorite sport?
To play or to watch?
Okay. Isn't it balls basketball?
No, no, no. I mean, given where I'm at right now, I've played a lot of basketball in my life. I
Hmm.
don't jump like I used to. I
Hmm.
don't move. I'm not as fast as I used to. And when I play basketball right now, I'm icing my knees for like weeks. So I love to watch basketball, but I enjoy playing golf. It's a lot less harder on the body.
Okay. Unexpected, to be honest. All right. Then the next one. Who's your favorite player?
Favorite player? Oh, I'm a MJ fan. I grew up watching Michael Jordan and mimicking Michael Jordan. I would actually say Magic Johnson plays a role.
Hmm.
Also, I mean, those are the two guys that forced me to that helped me actually pick up the sport of basketball when I was in Trinidad. Watching those two guys really inspired me to pick up the sport of basketball. I've got a huge appreciation for Irvin and Magic. It's kind of crazy to think that growing up as a kid in Trinidad and playing basketball, and you ended up having Irvin as a Magic Johnson as an investor and David Stern as an investor. So that's near and dear to my heart. But I'd say MJ and Magic were my two favorite players.
Okay. What is your favorite part of your job?
Oh man, I'm an engineer at heart,
Uh,
so I just love solving problems. I get really excited about the product development side of things. So for me, it's the product development, solving problems, and with the hope that it makes customers' life easier. And
mhm.
I really enjoy problems.
Okay, so the problem solving is a favorite part, but tell us the truth. What is the worst part? What do you
The
hate?
worst part,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a worst part of my job. Look, my job is hard, like we're trying to do some really, 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 really crazy things. And so I don't know if there's a worst part of my job. Yeah, I don't know if there's a worst part of my job. I mean, it's hard
Uh-huh.
and it's tough to break in and the market is tough, and but I still won't consider that the worst part because it's a problem to solve. So it allows me to be creative. I just feel like I'm really blessed, man. God has put me in this position, and I'm going to continue to, we wouldn't be around if there weren't problems, so I'm going to continue to embrace the problems. And so I would say there's no worst part of my job.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting approach. Even yeah, hard but meaningful, right? Hard but
Yeah, it's hard, man, but I've never been, look, man, we've been through the pandemic where, we've been through the pandemic where, we saw our company be in a really tough situation. We had to lay off people, we had to furlough people. Like those types of hards are necessary but painful. So maybe that's the worst part of my job when, those tough times come, but tough times don't last. Tough people do. So we try to be really tough and push through. And sometimes we got to make tough decisions. But it's one of those things where, as I said, it continues to be a blessing. We're here. God has allowed us to be here this
Mhm.
long. So, He has a purpose for us. And that's how I try to live my life.
Well, I would like to end on this note, like so, touching, but I have one more question. What is your advice for sport tech founders out there?
It's for a what? Sorry, a sports tech
Sport,
founder? I'll give it's an old, basketball adage. If you don't score, if you don't shoot. So if you have an opportunity, if you have an idea, you gotta do it. Yeah, you may fail, but so what? You gotta give it a chance. Michael Jordan, miss 100% of the shots he didn't take, right? So you do not score if you don't shoot. So you might as well shoot your shot and make it happen. And wherever the chips fall, the chips fall. But you got to at least take a swing at it.
all right, Davyeon, thank you. Thank you for insightful talk today. Thank you for inspiration. Thank you for being, honest, deep, and it was great to have you, man.
Yeah, man, it's really a pleasure. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you reaching out. Hopefully, this is helpful and kind of bring some awareness to what we're doing and to you and your podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.